Hey everybody, welcome back to the new video of this section. And in this video, we are going to talk about what is objects and classes. In the previous video, we used the term objects a lot. And this is the video where we are actually going to discuss what an object is and what are classes. So first of all, look around. You will see tons of example of object. For instance, what I see here is I see a monitor, I see laptop, I see my notebook and my smartphone, and again there are a lot of things that can be considered as an object. So what does an object have? Let's consider this square as an object. Object basically have two things. The first thing that an object have is properties. So every object have some property and some behavior. So every object must have a characteristic and behavior. So let's consider this object as a smartphone. So this square box, let's say this is a smartphone, and what are the properties of a smartphone? It could be like company name, it could be company name, the screen size. Screen size is again a property of a mobile phone, and either it is Android or iOS. That means the operating system. And what it could be, the megapixel of the camera. So basically camera megapixel. This can also be the property of this phone. So these are the things can be considered as properties. And what is the behavior of the phone? The behavior could be ringing. Ringing could be a behavior of a phone. Let's say if you receive someone's call, the phone starts to ring. So this is the behavior. And another behavior is of charging. Phone can charge. If it is charging, then yeah, this is a behavior. And then taking pictures or videos. So taking, let's say, photos, videos could be a behavior of mobile phone. And yeah, these three examples are enough to understand that these are the properties and behavior of the phone. So properties can be understood as the characteristics that define the object, and here in this case this is mobile phone. And now why I am giving all these examples, you will understand that. Just have patience for a moment. Let's take another example of object again. This time let's say animal. Let's consider animal as an object here. Now this is the property and this is the behavior. So what are the properties that animal have? Number of legs. It could be 4, it could be 2. I am saying 2 because humans can be understood as animal if you look biologically. So number of legs, this could be one of the properties of animal. And another property is the color of animal, or state of living. State of living is basically either the animal live on land or sea. This could be one of the property of animal, land or water. Another property could be size. There could be a lot of different sizes that animal can belong to. These are the properties and the behaviors. So animal have behavior of running. Animal can run, obviously. And another property could be eating, sleeping, drinking, and this could be, the behavior of animal. Now till now we understood that object have property and behavior, but what it has relation with the object oriented programming. So let me tell you, all these objects can be casted as software objects, and that's the whole point of object oriented programming. So if you see, in object oriented programming, the properties can be casted as fields of object. So these are basically the fields of object, and the behavior are basically functions of the objects. That's how this whole object oriented programming works. We got fields and then we got classes, and these objects can be considered as software objects. And again, I'll go to the IDE and I'll make you understand what exactly it is and how it works in the code. But now let's try to understand what are classes now. So, and I hope what is objects, it is clear. Object is basically something that have property and behavior, and it can be casted as a software objects. That I'll show you in the coding example. Now let's try to understand what is classes. Class is basically the blueprint for creating an object. As we have discussed, class object have two things, property and the behavior. Now class is the place where we define these fields and functions, or these properties and behavior. So again, class is a blueprint for an object, and multiple objects can be created using that blueprint. So this is the thing about theory. Now let's go to the IDE and let's see everything in action, and then it will make much more sense. I am here in my IDE. So now let's try to practically implement what we have learned so far in this video. So in order to create the object, the first thing that we have to do is we have to create the blueprint of the object. And where do we create the blueprint? We create that in a class. So to create a class, what we have to do is we have to go to this src folder, right click on it, go to new, and you have to select the Java class. Click on it. Now name of the class, and the class name is going to be mobile. You can call it smartphone or whatever you want, and simply press enter. Make sure you select class here and press enter. Now here we have a class called mobile. Public is the access modifier because we want to access this mobile phone everywhere in this project. So public class mobile. This is the class that we have created. Now we need to define the property in form of fields, and then we have to define behavior in form of methods or functions. In Java we call it method. So yeah, now how we define fields in a class, what we do here is simply we create variables. So the first property that mobile phone have, as we discuss, is where it is. So yeah, company name, screen size, operating system, and camera. These are the 4 properties. So let's try to define it. The first one is company name. So company name is a string value. So private string company name. This is the first property of mobile phone. Now the access modifier is private. It could be public, but let's make it private as of now. This is the first property of mobile phone. Another property is the screen size, and screen size could be the double value because it could be in decimal. So private double screen size. And then the next property was operating system. So private string, again this is also a string value, operating system. And the next and the last one is camera megapixel, which is an integer value. Private int camera megapixel, camera MP. These are the properties of the mobile phone. Now this is the blueprint of mobile object. So Hence this is a class. Now how we create an object from the blueprint or from the class? Let's see how we do that. So here we have a main method with the sample hello world code. We don't need that, so remove it. So in order to create the object of a class, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to write the name of the class. So in this case it is mobile. So here you can see we have the option mobile here. Now we need to define the name of this particular object. So let's call it my smartphone. This is the name of my object, and now what we need to do is equals to new mobile, because we need to create a new object. So this is the syntax for creating an object. Mobile, name of the class, then you name the object is equals to new mobile. That's how we do it. Now my smartphone, now let's try to access something from my smartphone. So my smartphone dot, okay, we got tons of option here, but the thing is we don't know what they are. So let's try to make them meaningful. Go back to mobile class. Now let's make the operating system property to public. Go back to main. We got my smartphone dot, and here you can see we have the option of operating system. Now let's set the operating system to Android. Okay, so that's how we set the property of an object. Okay, actually this is not the good practice. We are disobeying a very important rule of object-oriented programming, but just to make you understand that this is how it is done. Now as I make this operating system back to private, here you can see we are getting error because operating system is private and cannot be accessed outside this particular class. So that's the thing about the property of the field. Now let's try to define a behavior of this mobile. So as I have mentioned, behavior can be defined in methods. So let's create one method. Let's call it public void. We don't need any return type, and name of the method is, let's say, call number. And what this method takes, it takes the number on which you want to call. So number, okay, number is basically string phone number. Okay, let's call it phone number to make it more readable. So this is the behavior of the phone in the form of method. And what this method does, this method simply prints that you are calling at this particular number. So calling at number. So this method simply prints to what number you are calling. Now back to the main method, my smartphone dot, here you can see we have the behavior of call number. So let's click on it. Now here you have to enter the number on which you want to call. So let's enter something. Let's call on this number. Now if I run the application, okay, so here is the print statement saying calling at number, this number, whatever number you have entered here. This is one of the methods here, one of the behavior of mobile class. Other method is charging. So let's create another method for charging. So public void charging, and again the functionality here is simply we print mobile phone is charging. Now let's call this method my smartphone dot charging. Now one thing you can notice is I am using the same object, this is my smartphone, to call all the methods or behaviors. So let's run it again. And here you can see calling at this number and mobile phone is charging, and that is due to the another method that we added. And the next thing is taking photos and videos. Similarly, you can create another method with some functionality. So that's how we create classes and objects. So that's all about this video. In the next video we are going to talk about what is references and instance. These two terms we are going to use a lot in this course, so we need to understand what they are in the next video. So that's all about this video, and hope to see you in the next video.